Welcome in. This is Ricky's Mailbag. As you know, I take your questions that you ask and I try to answer them to the best of my ability. First and foremost, I want you to subscribe and like over here. You can catch all our shows and all our little skits all over YouTube right over there. So like and subscribe. Also, you can catch myself, Savannah Kelleher, and Bill Colarulo on Unfiltered 2 to 6 Monday through Friday on 97.5 The Fanatic, 97.5thefanatic.com. and NBC Sports Philadelphia. I'm here with Dylan McKinnon. Dylan's going to tee us up.
We start with a very simple question. How good is Jhoan Duran?
He's no joke. And let me put it this way. It takes a special person to be able to close. You could be a reliever. You could be a good reliever. But going into that ninth inning, it's never the easiest inning in the world. As a matter of fact, it's the one inning you got to be extremely focused. You have to be extremely ready because when you look back, you know these hitters are studying you. You know they're taking a good look at you. I think mentally, he's very good. And he has the confidence level that you should. As a matter of fact, you have to be a little cocky to be a closer. I think he's definitely got that. Now, you talk about his stuff. His stuff is nasty. I mean, we're talking upwards. He can get upwards of 102 miles an hour. That's pretty quick, pretty rapid, to say the least. He also has a curveball. Listen to this. His curveball comes in at 86, 87 miles an hour. Most normal people are like 79 to 82 miles an hour. So that's another 5 miles an hour. And it's a jetter. It's a 12 to 6 jetter. So it's a quick breaker late. It's pretty nasty. And his put away is his split. His split is just absolutely filthy. That's in the low 90s on top of it. So I like where his pitches are. You have 100 miles an hour, you have 87 miles an hour, and then you have anywhere from 92 to 95 miles an hour with the split. So he's got good separation on all of them. He's got nasty stuff, and he's got 3 good pitches, which should make him a very, very good addition to this team.
Question 2, is adding Duran enough to fix this bullpen on its own?
Okay, let's talk about this. Let's see what we're going to do here. Let's position the players, shall we? All right, let's start with Duran. He's going to be closing, okay? I don't care what Rob Thompson is thinking. If Rob is thinking we're going to do matchups, he's out of his mind because this is not a matchup guy. He is the closer. He's the 9th inning guy, maybe the 8th inning with runners on base or something to that aspect. But here's what I think. You have Orion Kirkring, Matt Strahm. Those are your setup guys now. Those are the 2 guys you're going to use 7th and 8th innings, and that's that. Now, you also have David Robertson, who should be ready any time now. I mean, I would assume probably within the next week we will see David Robertson make the trip to Philadelphia and be ready to pitch in Philadelphia. I think he moves into a backup setup guy role or the 6th, 7th inning guy. So that would depend on matchups. That would depend all on matchups between him, Kirkring, and Strahm. Now, here's the fun part. On August 19th, you get the big lefty back, the suspended lefty, Jose Alvarado. So he fits right into that bullpen also. And I got to tell you, I would use the daylights out of him. He hasn't pitched in 80-plus games. It's going to be one of those situations where you might as well get him in there. You might as well use him because I just truly believe that he could be effective in a role for a month and a half. He can't pitch in the playoffs, so that's not what I'm talking about here. But what you do have is another guy who could pitch in high leverage situations, and you wouldn't be afraid to use him. So what else is going to happen is that there's going to be a couple guys out in the bullpen, obviously. So, like what you saw in Chicago in Game 3 against the White Sox, Seth Johnson, Max Lazar, you may not be seeing these guys anymore. As a matter of fact, you're going to have to make room. I wouldn't be surprised if those guys aren't here, period, anymore. So it's one of those things where you're going to have plenty in the bullpen, and you're going to have a pretty good back end of the bullpen.
Okay, you already kind of touched on this, but someone did ask, is David Robertson someone they can rely on? What could he possibly have left?
Let me put it to you this way. He's 40 years old. I don't know how much you're going to rely on. I'm assuming that the scouts saw him. I'm assuming that they know his fastball has been there. So I haven't seen him pitch. I don't think a lot of people haven't seen him pitch at this given time. But at 40 years old, I don't know how much you could expect of him and how many days he could actually pitch in a week. So that's got to be the concern a little bit for David Robertson. But he did pitch last year, and he had a good season last year. So at 39 years old, he was pitching well. So in my eyes, I got to figure that he still has a little something left in the tank, especially only for a couple months of the season. I think he's going to be one of those guys that the Phillies may rely on sixth, seventh inning, like I just said on the last question. But I just don't know how much in a week you could possibly pitch him. I don't think you go over 3 times a week. That's 100% for sure.
Okay, next question. They just got Duran, who obviously his fastball touches 100.
Yep.
Someone asked, how much different is a 100-mile-per-hour pitch versus 97? Do those extra few miles per hour actually make that much of a difference?
Yeah, you would be surprised. I think guys nowadays see a lot of 95, 96, 97. Do they see a lot of 100, 101s? No. And the ball's got jump on it. You don't understand, like when you see it on TV and you're like, oh, 100 miles an hour, that's nice. You stand in that box, that ball's getting up on you in a hurry. And the one thing that I try to look for is like the late finish on the ball, which means when they let it go out of their hand, because that's where they're taking the miles per hour is really arm speed. I like to see how it finishes at the plate. And the one thing I look for is that little extra jump, the last 8 to 10 feet to home plate. Is that ball keeping up speed, or is it losing a lot of speed on the way in? Because some guys will throw 100, but their ball doesn't get to home plate at somewhere near around 94 miles an hour. So you have a little bit more time. I think this guy's got really good finish on his fastball, and I think that's going to play out. You'll see it when he gets here, and you'll be extremely impressed.
Okay, someone else asked, Jimmy Rollins is going into the Wall of Fame. Should the Hall of Fame be next?
Jimmy Rollins, here's the thing. I don't think you could keep him out of the Hall of Fame. He is the Phillies' all-time hits leader, okay? When you have a guy like that, how do you keep him out of the Hall of Fame? Just on that alone. You could sit back. He's got an MVP under his belt. He's got a World Series under his belt. So those two things are all checked off. Unbelievable shortstop. I mean, very flashy at times, but I mean, this guy made all the plays. And he could just flat out hit. The one thing about Jimmy is that I know a lot of people say, well, he was always popping off. You know what? Name one thing he didn't back up. When he said they were the team to beat, guess what? They were the team to beat, and they ended up winning the World Series. So, I think Jimmy Rollins is definitely a Hall of Famer, especially just because that he ended up in his career being the hits leader for the Phillies. I think that may get him in alone.
And we're going to pivot a bit because I just saw a tweet. I didn't actually see what the deal was, but I just saw a notification. Jeff Passan tweeted the Phillies are finalizing a deal to acquire Harrison Bader.
Harrison Bader, not a bad player, solid player. I wouldn't say that would have been first on my list, but he's a player that can come in, and he's played on winners before, so fit him right into the lineup, see how that runs. And it's just one of those things where whatever you can get an extra bat, you go out there, you get it. And he could fit in this lineup. I don't see him in the top 5 in the lineup, but a 6-7 hitter, I could see him definitely fitting into this lineup. Absolutely.
Okay, and then a final question someone want to know is, can Andrew Painter help them out of the bullpen in October?
I wouldn't do it. I know a lot of people are saying, well, he throws really hard and he has good stuff. You know what? The guy's just trying to get his feet wet. He hasn't stepped on a major league mound yet. I think putting him into high leverage situations in the bullpen just out of the blue, I don't think that's the greatest thing in the world. And the other thing is, I would worry about his arm at that point. If you're going to put him out there and use him maybe once in a series, yeah, I could understand that. But if you're putting him out in the bullpen and you want him to go 2-3 days in the week, I don't think that's really a good deal, because when you really think about it, he's coming off of elbow surgery, and he's just starting to readjust and make adjustments and be a good starter down in AAA. I don't think you want to mess with him this early in his career. But if they were, I mean, the guy's got a good arm. We do know that. But I would not overuse him in the bullpen for sure. So there you have it. That's Ricky's Mailbag. You could like and subscribe right over here. You can catch me, Silvana Kelleher, Bill Calarula on 97.5 The Fanatic. 97.5thefanatic.com, and NBC Sports Philadelphia on Unfiltered. Thanks for watching Unfiltered on YouTube. You could like and subscribe down here. You could also see our other shows over here. Go ahead and watch them all. We love when you watch. The one thing, hey, you could also catch us on 97.5 The Fanatic, 97.5thefanatic.com, and NBC Sports Philadelphia. See you there.